After drafting Luka Doncic, the Dallas Mavericks have built a very solid playoff team roster. However, in the last 2 years, and for every time Luka has made the playoffs, they have been eliminated in the first round. And Luka has done so much, but in the end, he looks gassed. His supporting cast just doesn't step up. But this year, they've had the best regular season they've ever had, winning 51 games. And I'm really wondering, should we really believe in this Mavericks team? They're so different from they were a couple years ago. Porzingis is gone. Tim Hardaway is hurt. They have new pieces like Jalen Brunson who broke out, Spencer Dinwiddie, and it's going to be really interesting to see that are the Mavericks legit in the playoffs? So before we start, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, as it further motivates me to make more videos like this. So let's get right into it. So let's first look at their stats. The Mavericks are currently 15th in offensive rating, 6th in defensive rating, and 8th in plus minus. And first, let's talk about their coaching. They fired Rick Carlisle and signed Jason Kidd. And yes, it was definitely a skeptical move at the time because Kidd hadn't really proven much as a coach with both the Nets and the Bucks. And yes, he was a solid assistant with the Lakers, but he still hadn't proven much, while Rick Carlisle was an established offensive coach who had won a championship with this franchise. But recently, and ever since the All-Star break, Jason Kidd has really just been really good. He's proven that he is a good coach. He prioritized defense and let that be new just at the start of the season, and everyone is pretty much buying in. Although they don't really have the biggest interior presence because they traded Porzingis, they still have very good perimeter defenders. You have someone like Dorian Finney-Smith who can lock up just their best player at a pretty good rate. Luka is a pretty underrated defender now. Maxi Kleber, Reggie Bullock are all solid defenders that can just anchor an offense and just put some good defensive stops. They've grinded out a bunch of wins this season, and they're just way different than they were last year. If you look at 2 years ago, they might have had the best offensive rating I think in NBA history, one of those, but their defense was below average. And now they kind of switched it. Now they're about average in offense and one of the top teams in defense like it was last year. And it's definitely good because you have the talent in Luka to carry you on offense, and if you have the defense, then that's just gonna be a really good combo. And talking about Luka, Luka has just been sensational. He is an MVP candidate, averaging 28.99 on 46% from the field and 35% from the three. From the volume of shots that Luka takes, that efficiency is actually really good. He's just taken over so many games, and when you watch Luka Doncic play, you can just get the vibe that he's one of the best players in the entire NBA. And if you watch him, you kind of feel like, if you don't look at the stats, just to watch him play, you might feel like that he is just the best player in the entire NBA. And just his passing is so good. His scoring, off the dribble threes, floater, just taking over games is just what Luka does. In his short career in the playoffs, he's just been so good as a scorer, as a passer, hitting triple doubles, hitting game winners. And this season, I think it's gonna be no different. He's gonna do it again. And he just also trusts Jason Kidd a lot, and especially from Kidd as a former superstar, he's definitely learned a lot for how to keep his temper, how to not really talk to refs. That how he did before. Now he already has 15 technicals, which hopefully doesn't get suspended for a playoff game, or that would be so bad. But Luka has just been that MVP candidate. We know that he is probably him, Giannis, Ja are the future of the entire NBA. And Luka, I really want to see him have a deep playoff run. And I think they definitely can. And overall, their offense is really well run. They got Spencer Dinwiddie, who's just been so big as just another ball handler who can score off the dribble, just help Luka just do his job much better. Jalen Brunson has improved so much as almost like a 24 per game scorer, around I would say in the teens, but Jalen Brunson as a scorer. And that three-man guard duo is really interesting, and you wouldn't really think it would work, but Luka is tall. I know Spencer comes off the bench, but mainly in crunch time, they have all three of them playing, and it's worked really well alongside like Dorian Finney-Smith, who can guard fours. Then you have like Dwight Powell in the middle. That's definitely a solid team. Now in the playoffs, we'll see how that works because they don't have that traditional big man to stop. Like Jokic is gonna torch them. Even like maybe even DeAndre Ayton, if they face the Suns, might torch them too. But I still think that they have what it takes. They're definitely a good team, and they still have players like Dorian Finney-Smith, Davis Bertans, Reggie Bullock, Maxi Kleber, who can all hit their shots, and especially with the wide open looks that Luka can generate, those shots are definitely going to matter. And if they're hitting them, this offense can be so efficient with Luka running the show as a scorer, passer, finding his teammates, and if it can all click on both ends, then I really like this Mavericks team. So, how do they match against the playoffs? Well, I'm pretty sure they're going to be the 4 seed. I mean, if the Warriors lose, the Mavericks win, they technically are the 3rd seed. So they're going to face either the Jazz or the Nuggets in the first round. And for the Nuggets, that's not really the best matchup. I mean, nobody's going to be able to stop Luka. Nobody's going to be able to stop Jokic, which would be such an... I would love to see Luka versus Jokic. It would pretty much depend on all the other guys. But I think that it's such a weird matchup because they both don't match against each other very well. I do think that, I mean, they can't really stop Jokic at all. You're gonna have like Dwight Powell on him. Yes, maybe you double Jokic, but he's gonna find the open guy like 100% of the time with his absurd passing. And then Luka, almost nobody's gonna be able to stop him. As if Kawhi Leonard and Paul George couldn't stop him in the playoffs last year, I don't really think Aaron Gordon or Will Barton or Monte Morris will do anything to stop Luka. And then the Jazz, I think that the Mavericks can win that series. Rudy, I mean, the Jazz are just falling apart. I'll probably make a video about that later on, but the Jazz are just falling apart. Rudy and Mitchell, they just aren't working together. Then they're like Mike Conley, Boyan, they just don't have... Pretty much everyone expects them to do bad in the playoffs. So I do think that the Mavericks, I mean, who's going to guard Luka? No one. And like Mitchell, I guess they can put like Dorian Finney-Smith on him, and it's not a bad matchup. And I think they definitely win that. Against the Nuggets, not completely sure, but if they do advance to the second round, then you got like the Warriors. Or if they are the 4th seed, they would face the Suns, which I don't really see them winning that because like Mikal Bridges, an amazing defender. Who's going to stop Devin Booker? Who's going to stop Chris Paul? Even DeAndre Ayton can sometimes torch them, and I would definitely have the Suns as a favorite. Now the Grizzlies, I would love to see that matchup too. Ja versus Luka, 2 young studs that might run the entire NBA as 2 pillar guards for the future, and I think I would love to see that matchup too. And I mean, we still don't know how legit the Grizzlies are. I personally like them a lot because they're so well built, but we need to see them in a playoff atmosphere where we're just going to see, are they legit? And so the Mavericks, I personally like them. Now, I do think that maybe not having that big man who can just... Now, I know the NBA is going small, but sometimes you just need that interior presence that this team doesn't really have. Now, Porzingis, not the answer for sure. Spencer didn't really trade in Davis Bertans for Porzingis trade. I think that was like a win-win for both sides. They get Spencer and Davis, who've both been at least decent. Oh, Davis been okay. Spencer's been really good. Porzingis way better for the Wizards than Spencer and Bertans, who were both trash for the Wizards. So I think it was definitely a win-win for both sides. And I'm really excited to see how this Mavericks team can perform because they have Luka. We all know how good Luka Doncic is, but can the others step up? Tim Hardaway Jr., I think he's out for the season, or he's barely played any games this year. Dorian Finney-Smith, can he step up? Can Spencer, Jalen Brunson all step up? And I'm really interested. I mean, I still think that they are that one like second star away. Like before injury Victor Oladipo, I think he would be perfect. Now, I don't know if that guy, they can really get him, but I still think that this team is well built. Jason Kidd's been a pretty solid coach this year, and I'm just super excited to see how the Mavericks do. So that being said, that's going to be my thoughts about the Dallas Mavericks. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you all next time.